build up an ecosystem and to, of course, highlight all the wonderful work most of the entrepreneurs are doing. We have been doing this in Kolkata. We have been doing it in Mumbai. Day after tomorrow it's Jaipur. And after that we're going to be there in Pune. I would like to thank Mahua. Where's Dr. Mahua Datta? Mahua is there. I told her about this idea and she was very happy to co-curate. She came forward on her own and she's really helped us a lot. Mahua, thank you so much for everything. And I would like to thank the sponsors and the presenters rather. E-Yantram, where's Ashish? Ashish Lohiya. Ashish, he runs a very talented company called E-Yantram, doing excellently well. We have got Kolkata signage. Amit Khetan, they are doing signages, doing excellently well. And Mr. Kaushik, he is here, he is representing JK Potamax. Manish unfortunately is not here, but Manish started as a company, a very small company, and is turning out to be one of the largest paint manufacturers in the Eastern region. And I would like to also thank Suresh Agarwal, my brother, who's always so supportive, and I would thank, there's one of my perpetual friends, Ritik Mukherjee. Ritik always willing to support me. He's always willing to moderate. It's a different issue that, I always tell Ritik to come, and there's a reason behind it, because he knows that I'm a Khamdoroshik like him. And whenever I am at his office, he teaches me to Kujri and all the mysteries, and because of that, I always ensure that he's there as a moderator. So, and who else can I? Everyone's here. We'll start the proceeding. I would like Sumit. Sumit is we know Sumit is a LinkedIn top voice, and he's an excellent content creator, in terms of what he writes. LinkedIn, I always read his blogs. He's so awesome, and he's creating a niche for himself, featured in Forbes. He's always invited for, providing his insights in so many other issues, which drives a separate ecosystem altogether. So, thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting this cause.
My pleasure.
So we'll start off with Sumit moderate. He'll be doing the first moderation part, and after that, Ritika will take over. So Sumit, if I can ask you permit you to come here. So Sumit will start the proceeding. Sumit, all yours. Just 2 minutes. Sorry, actually we'll just take a small PPT of the presenters here who have been kind enough to support this whole initiative. So just relax.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. I'll be your moderator for this evening. My name is Sumit Agarwal. I am the LinkedIn top voice. In this wonderful evening, our first speaker is a doctor who heals people and restores their vision to the world. Dr. Jitendra Shah did his MBBS in 1995. He did his FRCS in 1998. He then returned to India in 2007 and opened the new Alipur Center. Then he opened the Amul Jyoti Eye Foundation, which was started in 2008. He is a senior surgeon with ILS Hospital, Woodlands, Albany Corporate other setups. Dr. Jitendra Shah, I would like to call you to the stage.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm finding myself a bit out of place here with the so-called entrepreneurs of modern society. But for me, it's a very refreshing change from the mundane society of ophthalmologists and doctors all along, having the same discussions or back discussions, to see so many fresh entrepreneurial faces in front, all very challenging people who are upfront about knowing what they are going to do and facing up with the challenges of life. My story is very simple really. I finished my fellowship in UK and then it was a very easy career prospect, mind you, very easy career prospect to pick up a job like cherry picking and settling down in United Kingdom. Started with a job, comfortable job, 9 to 5, with a good 1 hour break. It went on for a good 13 years, I should say. Then realized that what am I doing? Good, I've earned a few bucks. I've driven some second-hand good cars, Mercedes and whatever had childhood fascinations. Airport, what next? It wasn't giving me the thrills at all. Although we had a select of good patients there. Mind you, I'm not undermining UK or the prospects there at all, but I didn't get my kicks. Maybe I'm from a business background, I don't know. So I dared myself. I gave up a comfortable living, sold my house, small children. My wife is a pediatrician. My friend, we were colleagues in National Medical College in Calcutta. And we decided to, chalo, let's see what happens. Obviously, dad was there was a bit of a cushion, but that was not that important. So we gave up our jobs, sold our houses, and came back to Calcutta. We had a flat to start with. I did not take up any attachments before that. So it was a very, very big gamble that I took. I feel very humbled and very grateful to God today when I see what I have done to myself in the last 13, 14 odd years that I have been in the city. Why do I feel that? Because I took that challenge. I took that pledge and decided to come back to my source of origin, to my roots, and take on this challenge of life. Totally new phase, although I have graduated, I did my post-graduation from Calcutta itself, but it was a totally new approach. I was away out of sight for 14 years, and then I'm back again trying to set myself up. Mind you, no jobs in hand, no paychecks, nothing. 3 small children. I started, my wife started. We invested, we bought our own setup at New Alipur, which by God's grace is doing very well. Then I partnered with my very senior colleague of my olden years, Dr. Arup Chakravarti, and I contributed, although he's a major partner there, and we opened up this Amulya Jyoti Eye Foundation. I took up consultancy from Amri to Calcutta Port Trust to ILS to Woodlands, EDF, name it, and I was there. From those weekends where I was playing golf, doing nothing, here I was on a Friday and a Saturday doing clinics in the morning. But going home very happy, I can tell you. Don't get me wrong, going home very happy. I don't know. It was a connect with the people that probably made me feel that way, that made me feel energized that way. And then of course, money started coming in. I won't lie. I'm very happily settled now, and I quite enjoy these companies when I come. I'm very grateful that my childhood school buddy Sunil asked me to come down today. At first I didn't know what I would speak, but then here it is. I'm pouring my heart out to people whom I just know 4 or 5 of yours from other meetings, but here I'm pouring my heart out. So what I'm trying to say is, of course, there are so many learned, so well equipped and handled ladies and gentlemen in front of me. I feel humbled actually to sit here and talk to you. But all I can say is, put your heart into it and go for it. You will achieve. I don't know how much you will achieve. You might say the sky is the limit. I don't know that. But yes, you will achieve. As long as you're happy with what you do, I'm happy. I do my cataract surgeries. I've got a select bunch of very good patients, very happy clients. I love reading my Google reviews and I feel very satisfied that at the end of the day I have not really, done things that nasty, and I get a good night's sleep. So that's my story really. And what I would add on to this is that I don't know much of business, to be quite honest with you. You people are very much into business, much more informed. I'll probably learn from you when I leave this place. But one thing I realized is dedication and integrity. I'm sorry, some are very senior to me, but I'm just pouring my heart out, as I said. Dedication and integrity and believing in yourself, that is what will take you forward. You may not be the top 10 of anyone or top 5 somewhere, I don't know. But you will certainly be the top 10 or top 5 in your own heart. And that is what will matter to you at the end of the day. Thank you.
It's a wonderful story, Dr. Jitendra. We are all deeply touched by it. So, Dr. Jitendra, you have been in the UK for a considerable amount of time in your life. And when you look at UK, when you look at a place like India, what kind of difference do you see in, the kind of medical facilities that are there? And how could, people in India replicate certain aspects that are present there?
I think, I hope I'm not overstepping. Hello? Yeah. Sorry. Hello? I hope I'm not, oh yeah. The mic doesn't like me anymore? Yeah. I hope I'm not overstepping. I changed the statement, I think. I hope I'm not, is not going in well there. I can't find any other reason really. Is that working? Yeah, this one is working. Sorry, I took yours. Don't get me wrong when I say I really mean it. India is the promised land, if you ask me. Forget all the negative publicity and everything. Look at our population. We are carrying half the world with us. So you can't just look back and criticize. What we have today in India is probably something which the West aspires for. I know so many people, they come for their knee replacements, the hip replacements, for their cataracts, for their dental implants. You know why? Because at the drop of the hat, they can get a very select group of surgeons who does immaculate surgery and they fly back home. Rather than waiting there for in UK, when I was first starting my cataract surgeries, that is in 1996-97, people used to wait for 2 years. So I listed them for cataract, and then I knew I would probably go to the next job because I wouldn't see that patient anymore. 2 years is a long interval. Here you get the best of hands to operate on you, probably within a 2 or 3 day gap. So what I'm trying to say is, there is an immense scope in India. You got to know where to go for it and how to go for it. It is your innovation that at the end of the day will carry you forward. And of course, the most important thing is believing in yourself and having that integrity.
This was a wonderful and lovely advice for everyone who is aspiring to, go for their treatment abroad. They can look at their options in India. And so, Dr. Jitendra, coming back to the present, what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs who are wanting to get into the medical or pharmaceutical business, or say a setup like yours?
Most important thing, do your homework very well. Don't take the plunge until you feel you are absolutely well equipped with the information and the knowledge that you need to help you carry it forward. Do your homework, that's the bottom line really. And once you have it, make sure you have got all the right connects. Join as many different forums as you think you can. It is always good to share and learn. I am going to go home today learning a lot. I've already learned a lot from Dr. Somojit Basu, who was discussing a lot about oxygen and how they are setting it up, and I had absolutely no idea. So I will go home with a lot of information today. So that's the answer really.
Thank you, Dr. Jitendra. Enlightened after that, and let's say session.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
After that enlightening heart-to-heart section with Dr. Jitendra, our next speaker has been an inspiration for the youth. Our next speaker is one of the emerging young minds who empowers the youth population of Bengal and a lot of other people from India. I'm talking about Meghdut Roy Chaudhary, who is the Executive Director and Chief Innovation Officer of Techno India. Meghdut has been a serial entrepreneur. He started his first business at the age of 19. He has a master's in management with a specialization in international business from Paris, Stanford University, and Tel Aviv University. He is currently the Executive Director and Chief Innovation Officer of Techno India. He also runs co-working spaces, startup incubator called Techno Entrepreneurs Surrogate Ventures in Kolkata. He has also recently founded Bengal Business Council to promote entrepreneurship in Kolkata. Welcome. If you would like to kindly share your journey with us.
Sure. I think I'm going to not use the mic because it didn't go very well the last time. Am I audible? Yeah. I think I just prefer doing it this way. Thankfully, God gave Saas Bahu serials. They're also talking about Namita Thapar and Aman Gupta. They're talking about startups are finally a dinner table conversation. So we have it better than what our past generations had. At least the can of worms is open now. At least it's not taboo to talk about entrepreneurship anymore. And I'll give you a very small example on that. I think the biggest news, if you look at any of the, I mean, I'm from education, so obviously for me this is the biggest news. I don't know if it's the biggest news for you, but Stanford University, my alma mater, they came up with their first School of Sustainability yesterday with an endowment of $1.1 billion. And just to let you know, at Techno India, we built our sustainability department 5 years ago. So that's what, and we say, what Bengal thinks, we always said this. What Bengal thinks today, India thinks tomorrow. And what Bengal thinks today, India, the world is thinking today, Bengal thought about 5 years ago. And I'm not even saying that from a point of looking down upon anyone. I've so much of my entrepreneurial journey has been inspired by my time spent in Palo Alto in the Valley with all of these incredible entrepreneurs. But a lot of that, and interestingly enough, the dean, the guy who's running the School of Sustainability at Stanford is a Bengali, Arun Mukherjee. Think about that, all of that human capital somehow ties up to Bengal in some bizarre way. And yet Bengal is still talking about how can we make Bengal the Silicon Valley. I don't think that's the angle we should be looking at, but hopefully the intergenerational mindset shift is going to happen if three things happen. That's my take, and I think that I won't take any more of our time. The first thing that's going to happen, and it's going to be very important, is when we see the first unicorn coming out of Bengal. We still haven't seen that. Unless that happens, unless parents see that kids have the potential of making so much money that the next 10 generations can survive on just that, they will not be convinced enough to let them opt for the entrepreneurship journey right out of college. Two is that a lot of these parents themselves also need to sort of take the path less traveled, because we Bengalis get very comfortable. And if you've been, and when I say Bengali here, I also mean everyone who's in Bengal, which is comfortable. Bengal actually really feeds your comfort. I think that's has been one of the reasons why Bengal is so unique, but it's also one of the reasons why we've sort of lost the track at some point of time, because we've sort of lost that drive. And the third thing I think which would really make Bengal, which has the potential of making Bengal great again, is the building up of what we call a startup common. And a startup common is formed by 7 very essential things that are responsible for converting unfunded startups into funded startups, and it includes everything from pillar companies. And when we mean pillar companies, it's the equivalence of a Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and I don't mean back offices. That is not going to be that important or as important as like the brain center. So if it's a Flipkart, it needs to be even if it's 100 people office instead of a 10,000 or 10 lakh square foot go down. I think it serves more to the purpose of bringing business back into Bengal, because those 100 people then then they break out of Flipkart and then they open their own companies and then they bring funding to the younger startups. So when I talk about pillar companies, that's one of the reasons we don't have pillar companies in Bengal. It's a very big problem. We don't have big funded companies working out of Bengal, and that is one of the core areas that hold the startup common together. Of course, the other things that you might already know, everything from your investment capital, your human capital, your universities. Universities also need to be way more aggressive. We run 4 universities, about 20 colleges, 10 business schools, and I know that entrepreneurship is not very well looked at in the universities. I have the biggest fights with all of our professors because they are terrible mentors, and if any of my professors are in the audience, I'm sorry, but I've said this before and I'll say it, keep saying it until you guys get better as mentors. And there's a reason for that. I think we're also at fault. Universities are not conducive to innovation, particularly for the reason because faculty members and professors do not have any equity in the businesses they build. That's very different from Stanford or in the Bay Area because all of the faculty members have a stake. If it's your idea on which a startup is built, you have money to make out of that. You have you have a potential of a revenue model in your life, and you can still continue teaching. Just because you made a couple of million on startups does not mean you stop. It means you teach even more, you get into the innovation world and you invest more in companies. So everything from your universities to your pillar companies to your human capital, intellectual capital, presence of an entrepreneurship ecosystem in the form of incubators, accelerators, all of these things is basically what creates the funnel from an unfunded to a funded startup. And this does not happen overnight. Normally even if you look at one of the faster growing startup ecosystems like a Tel Aviv or an Estonia, or like Tallinn in Estonia, it takes about 20 years. So I think we're just about hitting the 6-7 year mark in Bengal. It's going to be a long and uphill path. In the next hopefully, I hope my predictions come true, and otherwise I'm accountable to all of you. I hope in the next 5 years we're going to see our first unicorn coming out of Bengal. 7,000 crores is not a lot of money if you look at it, but by Bengal standards it is a lot of money. We'll see what happens. If all of these things fall into the right places, and hopefully a lot of young people like you, like a lot of you entrepreneurs in the room come together, I think we can really kill it. Bengal has a lot of potential. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate it, Sumit, and wish everyone the best of luck. Looking forward to learning from all of you tonight. Thank you.